This Buddha's made for walking, that's just what he'll do. One of these days, this Buddha's gonna walk all over you. Alright, hello there, thrill seekers. This Buddha's made for walking, and that's just what he'll do. And one of these days, this Buddha's gonna walk all over you. How do you stand this level of humor and hilarity? I don't know. I just wonder what it's like to be you and just enjoy all these laughs that I provide. So today I wasn't going to make a video, but then I received a question, and as you know, since before your sun burned hot in space and before your race was born, I have awaited a question. And so I feel like I have answered versions or variations on this question a number of times, but this one's a kind of an interesting variation, so I'm going to read it to you and I'm going to answer it as best I can. Hey, I hope this message finds you well. Well, it does. I'm doing pretty good. So, my favorite cousin converted to Islam for a sexy Muslim Instagram influencer. Sexy Muslim Instagram influencer. It drives me up a wall. Can you give me some guidance or make a video? I'm on a tight budget, but I can PayPal you $50. You don't have to PayPal me $50. Once you hear my advice, you're going to realize it isn't even worth 50 cents. I mean, I appreciate any donations people give me, but you don't. The specific donation for a specific question is not necessary. So let's just keep going. He was an atheist before her, and we grew up Catholic. She is smoking hot, but treats him bad. Yeah, yeah, that happens. We talk about Buddhism and Islam almost every Sunday. We try to figure out koans together. Well, good luck with that. All sorts of cool Buddhist stuff, and he shares what he's learned in his Islam classes. Cool, right? However, he's started randomly saying edgy Islamic rhetoric and jokes about Israelis. You don't want to know what he's saying. Okay. I doubt he'll go extremist, but she is rich and hot. So there's the question. Now, I've never gotten this specific question about somebody whose cousin has fallen for a sexy Muslim sexy Muslim Instagram influencer. I did not know such things existed. I'm going to have to go look up sexy Muslim Instagram influencer. But I feel like I get variations of this question all the time. And the question, the sort of question, the sort of, basic question is about how to get your friends and family or relatives interested in Buddhism, and also how to get your friends and family kind of out of some kind of religion or possibly even cult that you don't want them to be in, and maybe get them onto something better. Well, I am the wrong person to ask about this because I really don't have an answer. I've never been successful at this. My favorite case to point out when talking about this is the book Hardcore Zen, and those of you who've been longtime viewers of this channel already know this story, but I'm going to tell it again. I wrote Hardcore Zen at a time when I was trying hard to be either a novelist and or a screenwriter, and I was working for Tsuburaya Productions and submitting episode ideas and scripts for Ultraman. I was also separately writing science fiction novels and sending those out to publishers, and I was just getting rejected all the time, but the writing bug had bit, and I really liked writing, and I really wanted to continue to write. And this is a lesson for you who are aspiring writers. Don't write for the reward of it or to get published or because you think something's going to happen or you're going to be an influencer or whatever. You got to do it because you love it, because it's too hard to do if you don't love it. So I had heard the advice or read the advice of Kurt Vonnegut Jr., who was a great American novelist who's now, I think I've read almost all of Kurt Vonnegut's novels. I think there might be a couple I haven't read, but I really like his stuff, and he advised aspiring writers one time to write for a specific person. That is, don't write your book for an imagined big audience of, or a general general audience or this type of person or whatever. Write your book, for a specific individual in your life who you know. And so I used to do that, and I decided to write a book about Buddhism, and the person I chose to be the imagined person in my mind who I was writing this book for was my nephew Ben, who was then 14 years old. And I wrote the book for Ben, and it got published in 2003, which is 21 years ago, and as far as I know, Ben still has not read the book. He did get a little bit interested in Buddhism. The reason I wrote the book sort of for him, in scare quotes, is because he was interested in deep philosophical questions of the meaning of life, and I thought, okay, well, so was I at his age, and I'm going to write kind of the book that I would have loved to read when I was his age. So I did that, but he's never read the book. He did, I think I started to say this, he did do Zazen for, I don't know, a couple weeks, a month or something, and then gave it up. Same thing with my dad. He did Zazen for a month or two and just quit. My wife went to a retreat that I ran a number of years ago, said she enjoyed the retreat. As far as I know, she's never sat Zazen again. So I'm not good at that. I also have in my life a couple of people I know who I see regularly who are interested in this kind of, they're into this odd sort of trance channeling person who channels a 3,000-year-old Egyptian god or some such thing and dispenses wonderful advice that is mostly, whenever I hear some of the advice that this trans-channeled 3,000-year-old Egyptian god comes through with, I'm like, really? This is the best a 3,000-year-old Egyptian god can come up with? It's not really great stuff, and some of it I think is actually actively bad. But and I've had no influence. These people know what I do. They know that I've studied Zen for years and practiced and wrote books about it, and that I'm world renowned, that people watch my videos and read my books and stuff and come to me for advice on it, but they're not interested in hearing what I have to say about Buddhism. And I never push it on anybody. There's a rule of thumb that comes up sometimes in old Buddhist literature, which is that you don't answer a question about Buddhism until the person who is asking you the question has asked you the same question 3 times. Now, I don't take that literally, but in sort of a figurative sense, that's my kind of way of doing it. If I'm doing a lecture or something at a, someplace I've been invited to give a lecture, and then people start asking me questions afterwards, I can be reasonably certain that they are interested, and so I'll be very open and tell them, whatever I can come up with. But when sort of people I know, acquaintances, workmates when I was working for a living at Tsuburaya Productions and elsewhere, maybe at a party, I don't go to parties much, but sometimes, family members or whatever, occasionally I get a question, but I can usually tell that the person who's asking the question is kind of just making small talk about something they think I'm interested in, and I'll give them the small talk answer. I don't try to get people interested in Buddhism. I mean, I do this video channel and people can find it, but this is kind of my way of doing it. The idea in Zen is that you don't proselytize. We don't knock on the door and say, can we tell you about the good news of Zen? As people, there's a Jehovah's Witnesses place and a Seventh-day Adventist place right near me. And I get knocks on the door all the time, and then I don't answer them, and I come back, and there's either Jehovah's Witnesses or some kind of pamphlet sitting in my door, or in my mailbox or something. So they're trying to get me, and I don't want to talk to them about it. And that's kind of the way it is. When people try to sell you their religion, my natural reaction is to be like, come on, don't do that. Okay, let's do something else. I don't want to hear about it. I want to come to it of my own accord. So the only thing I can give as advice for people who ask me this question, and I feel like I've answered variations on this question, I don't know, a dozen times on this video channel. Maybe people who watch this channel are getting sick of it. But I feel like the only thing to do is you do you. You know, you do your own practice, and you can let people know that you're doing this, or kind of drop a hint here or there that this is something you know about and this is something you're willing to talk about, and let people come to you. If they don't come to you specifically asking for religious advice, or your opinion on great philosophical matters of life, the universe, and everything, don't give it. Nobody needs to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody cares about your religious point of view. Nobody cares about your politics. Nobody cares about wants to hear your political stuff either. In Japan, it is almost forbidden. I mean, it's not actually forbidden, but it's in very poor taste to bring up religion or politics in a social setting. And so you just don't do it. And I mean, I didn't do it even before I went to Japan, but I think living in Japan for 11 years kind of conditioned me to being like, these are things you don't talk about in just polite conversation with people. And this person says he's having conversations with his cousin about koans and stuff every Sunday. If you got a situation like that where somebody's actually interested in talking about it, just keep talking about it, and just don't even worry about the results. This is my feeling. I think the results are mostly out of our control. This is kind of basic Buddhist philosophy about karma. Is you try to put something good out into the world, and you try to do your best, try to do no harm, and try to do the best you can with what you got, and let the results happen themselves, and don't worry too much if it's not having the intended effect, because you can't do anything about that. You just can't do anything about it. You just have to let it happen as it happens. So there you go. This is how to get your friends and family into Buddhism and out of a cult, or whatever. Which is, I have no advice at all. Okay, if you want to donate, like this guy wants to donate, you can find links to my PayPal and Patreon accounts down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, there will be links in the description. Or, if you don't like that, you can go to the URL that you're seeing on the screen below right now, which is hardcorezen.info/donate. That is hardcorezen.info/donate. That's where you will find my PayPal and Patreon links. The same links as you find down below, but you'll find them in another spot. And then if you want to donate to me, you can, and I appreciate it, because that's how I make my living. But you don't gotta donate if you don't want it. Alright, we will see you next time. Have a good time all the time. Bye. Hey Ziggy, how you doing? Do you want to get your doggy friends out of the doggy cults that they're in? Are they in cat cults? Are they looking for cats? Are they looking for cats? Ziggy knows the word cats. Anyway, there's no cats out there. Alright, Ziggy, let's go in and edit the video, okay? Talk to you later. Bye.